Well, first of all, congrats to Arizona State. Bobby Hurley's his guys did a great job tonight. Those guys have had a tough stretch here coming into tonight, and give them a lot of credit. They fought hard. I thought they were aggressor tonight. So give them a lot of credit to come in and win on the road. It's been hard to win on the road, and we've been really good at home until, quite frankly, tonight. So it's a humbling game, and we got humbled tonight. And quite frankly, this homestand played, thought really, really well the other night. And one possession, 1 point the other night, and tonight ends up being three to four possession, however you want to look at it, and that can be, living really good and going 2-0, but we did the other, we went the other way to go 0-2. So we didn't get it done. Everything that we want is still out there. We got to keep our heads up. We got to keep pushing. Got to keep competing. Got to keep fighting. I thought we, didn't guard to the level that we needed to guard tonight. We've been getting a lot better on that end of the floor, but wasn't the case. I just thought they were aggressive and got to their spots consistently. And then our end of the floor, too many, we had 13 turnovers, which is a lot better than last time. It's a solid number. They did score 21 points. I think they had 8 points, I believe, directly off our turnovers, and you can't allow, a lot of times their best offense is their defense, and you just can't allow our offense to be their best offense. And then we missed a lot of shots, quite frankly, in that second half. We had a lot of clean looks that just didn't fall in, and sometimes that happens. And I'm not a guy that usually says something like that, but I thought we did have a lot of clean ones tonight. Got to make our free throws. It's starting to become a little bit of a habit of saying that, and I just think there's a lot of things with that. So got to be better. I thought we had, proud of Branden, obviously a long game the other day. We're not going to use that as an excuse or anything of the sort. You got to be able to bounce back, and you got to be able to show character and resiliency, physically, emotionally, mentally. A lot goes into it. But I was really proud of how he played on both ends of the floor. And obviously led us with 27, had 11 rebounds as well. I thought Kaba gave us a lot of, had a couple of turnovers, but just will points, like just going and get offensive rebound. I mean, he gets 5 of them and just kind of willed himself to try to get us going and get us that mojo. But we just, at the end of the day, weren't good enough tonight.
Outside of Branden, John. Outside of Branden, obviously, your team kind of struggled, like you said, to shoot. Was there is there any reason you can point to from that other than just shots didn't fall? Or what do you think?
I think when you play Arizona State, they are they're very athletic. They scramble. You don't always know what's going to happen with them defensively. Like sometimes one thing that's going to happen if you get the ball in the paint, they're going to run like 3 guys at you or 4. They're a little bit all over with some different things. So you got to be players. You just got to be able to make the right play, whatever it is. And sometimes they get you rushed. Although I thought we had some really clean looks that just didn't fall. And so sometimes that happens. Basketball is a game of rhythm and timing on the offensive end, and they do a good job of throwing out of rhythm and timing, right? I thought we handled their press well. They didn't press nearly as much as we've handled presses very well all year. We were prepared for it, but we've done a really good job with that. So sometimes you have those nights. I want to be a team that consistently can get the ball in the paint, whether it's post touches, transition, offensive rebounds, dribble penetration, and then make the right decision with that. We shoot 29 threes. Obviously, some of those came in the last 2 minutes. I don't like to be a team that just, shoots 30, essentially, 29 of your 67 shots from the 3. I'm not usually a big fan of that unless they're really clean ones. So, but I did think we had some really clean looks that just didn't fall.
Arizona State came in and made the game trippy. How do you think your players responded to that physicality?
Normally we're a pretty physical team. I thought they, like I said at the opening statement, I felt like they were the aggressor. And we have a saying in our program, the aggressor always wins. And I firmly believe that in every sport. And, you got to have an aggressive mindset and a physicality. And I didn't think we matched that consistently tonight. I think some guys did, but we as a team, I felt like they were just downhill on us a lot. The zone got them standing for a while, and it slowed us down and kind of we gained some momentum there, and then they did a good job of flashing some guys and got 2 or 3 kind of easy kind of floaters, at the rim. But certainly they were their aggressor tonight.
turnaround just with the triple overtime. Was there, in your eyes, was there any residual effect from that, or is this just a completely different incident?
Well, I mean, I'm never gonna make excuses. That's why you have a team. I think you show sometimes who you are in tough times, and I truly believe tough times don't last, tough people do. Big believer in that, and we just weren't as connected as we needed to be tonight, and we just weren't as tough as we needed tonight. And I just thought, they outplayed us, they outcompeted us.
About a month left in the season. How do you feel like your team's NCAA resume is shaping up?
Yeah, I don't look at that stuff. I just know we got to lock in. And this is a little bit cliche-ish, and I understand this, but I just worry about the next opponent and worry about our team being the very best that we can be on a day-to-day basis. Every day in practice, every day in film, every day in the weight room. Let's be at our very best. And if we are, then good things will happen. I know we're still in a good position. This is a tough loss, obviously, for a lot of respects. Conference standings, we've been so good at home, and we and we lose both. But we have 7 regular season games left. We're guaranteed 1 game in the conference tournament, so we know we have 8 competitions left at a minimum, hopefully a lot more. But we just got to lock into the present and be where our feet are at.
You mentioned conference standings. In the blink of an eye, 6 and 7 at conference play. I mean, a couple weeks ago, does it ever amaze you how this conference beats itself up?
Well, it's league play, and certainly in the Pac-12, but I think that's the case in most leagues. And so in Division I basketball, and I don't know the exact stat, I just most games are decided by 8 points or less. So that's like tonight, 8 points on the button, right? It's a 3 to 4 possession game that can go either way, and you got to be able to seize those moments and make those plays, right, when they matter. And it's just so many teams that are so even, right? And in this league this year, and we said this at the get-go, I felt like the back half of the league was much better than it's been the last 2 years. Some teams are really starting to figure it out now, and that's, when you have a bunch of some teams have a ton of new transfers, new faces. Sometimes it takes a little longer to figure that out, but nothing really surprises me anymore, specifically in this conference.
Obviously, as a coach, you're going to have a million things that you want to look at and kind of focus on. What is kind of your immediate thing that you feel like you needs to address going into next week?
Yeah, that's a great question. I've always felt like, like on a night like tonight, the other night, we did some really, really good things. Not so much the second 10 minutes of the first half, but other than that, we did. We showed a lot of courage and a lot of heart, and played with some real sense of urgency and maybe even a little bit of desperation, which isn't a bad thing. And didn't always have that today. We'll see when I watch some film, but I always look at it like, it's a fine line where you really got to push guys and will them to things that maybe they've never done before. So we gotta push that way, but you also got to be able to take a step back and say, okay, if it feels like we have 8 problems, like we got to cut our problems in half. If it feels like we have 6 real issues right now, cut your problems in half. Let's really hone into these 2 or 3 things. Our team tends to respond, and things we really lock into, we usually fix those things quickly. But we also sometimes then revert to old bad habits on the other stuff that we don't really lock into, and that's been a little bit of an issue for us. So we got to be able to find consistency and just, be together. But certainly we weren't at ourselves, and credit to Arizona State, because there's some things we did tonight that just seemed a bit out of character.
Branden, starting with the positive, how does it feel to be the all-time blocks leader here at Utah?
I mean, it's pretty cool, but a little taken away from, with the loss and everything. But, it's cool. It's it's something I've definitely, been working for and looking forward towards this season. So, it's great to kind of have my, my name on top of that list now. It's really cool.
Things got a little chippy out there. How do you guys feel like you responded to Arizona State's physicality tonight?
I think we had moments and stretches where we were good, where we just had lapses, and we just needed to be better physically, defensively for us. I think we had way too many opportunities where they just drove right by us and we didn't wall up. I think they had way too many shots at their end that we needed to contest more. But I think this is just a learning point for us, and now we got to just grow from this.
Branden, I know you kind of touched on it right there, but like where did things go wrong for you guys tonight?
I would say, you could say we missed some easy shots that we had. Like we had a lot of good clean looks that we just didn't make. So that helps to change the game a lot. But as well, I think mainly it was just defensively. We just didn't do a good job of just being able to play one-on-one defense. Arizona is a good team, a really good team at doing iso ball, and I think we needed to be better at just being able to guard our guy.
Your coach has a really wonderful way of making sense of basketball, and he called them the aggressor tonight and really stood firmly that if you're not the aggressor, you're not going to win. Do you kind of agree with his assessment that way?
Yeah, I would agree for sure. I think we always talk about the toughest team wins. And you got to come in with the mindset with, we want to play with the toughness and aggressiveness that when we are done with that game, no matter win or lose, that team doesn't want to play us again because we were so tough and physical. And I think we were not that tonight. And so, they definitely, I think they out-rebounded us. And, I think last time we had a big margin of out-rebounding them at their place. And so it just kind of shows right there that we weren't, really ready to go on that standpoint.
Where do the free throw problems kind of lie? Like, how do you fix that? Where do you think that kind of fits with what your team's experiencing right now?
I think it's just a mental thing. I think we just got to step up to the line, myself really included. You just got to step up and just know that we've put in the time, that we make these free throws in practice. Everyone shoots a very high percentage in practice. I think it's just in the game. It's got to be a mental thing. I think free throws is a very mental aspect of the game. Of you walk up and you just have the confidence and the to knock them down. And so we just gotta we have to have guys just step up in the moment, myself included.
As a leader on this team, you're going to be tasked with kind of helping overcome these two losses. Where do you think the team needs to turn to right now so that you don't let these games spiral? You've obviously been a part of those types of games. Where do you kind of go right now?
Oh, you gotta stay together. First of all, I think this is where teams. I'm not saying our team is like this, but teams in general can start, turning on each other, and then at this point just be like, oh, I'm going to get my stats now. Our season's kind of coming to an end, but we still have everything we want in front of us. We just got to go, take it on the road. It's going to be kind of the hard way now, but we have to go, really fight these next few games, stay together, and really focus on ourselves. I think at points like this, teams and guys can get focused on the wrong things of standings and conference and your record and everything, but we just got to take it. We have 7 regular conference games left, 1 tournament game, and you just got to really focus on ourselves and take those games one at a time and just worry about that.
Any other questions for Branden?
Branden, obviously, as you mentioned, you still have several games left. You've been with this program since it was not doing so well. You've kind of watched it build up, and in the process, you've built a legacy both here and in the Pac-12. Just kind of, now that things are on the downward slope, what does it mean to you to have that legacy kind of cemented, and knowing that there's still a little bit more left to not only paint your own legacy, but the legacy of this particular team?
Yeah, it's been amazing to be a part of this program, part of the Pac-12, and yeah, like you said, I've been on some teams that I've had more down years, and so this is just it's our last go around in the Pac-12, and as a team, it's just I don't know. There's a lot of thoughts right now, but it's just kind of crazy when you think. For myself right now, I only have 2 games left in the Huntsman Center, and that's really crazy to think about. Of you don't want to end on a loss here, and but yeah, we got 7 more games, and so on this kind of the ending the season right now, we really just gotta have a competitive mindset.